Westminster, St. Augustine, we really want to thank you all and the St. John Sheriff's County Department for coming out and for providing us this valuable training, and also for taking your time. We greatly appreciate you all so much. Thank you kindly, and please welcome them.
It's our honor, number one, and our pleasure. What I'd like to do is introduce myself, Tony Rodriguez, St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. I work for the Office of the Sheriff. And this is Jeff Alvarez. As I mentioned earlier, Jeff is with our SWAT team, so he's just coming to observe. If he wants to add to it, he can. So I got to put a couple disclaimers out here. Obviously, this is more of I had to change the name. I changed the name to more of an awareness, self-awareness presentation. I want to make sure that you understand one thing. You don't want to use this on the residents. You don't want to use it on each other. Definitely don't use it on your spouse or your significant other. But this is, and all kidding aside, this is, if all else fails and you have to protect yourself, obviously some of the things that we'll go over here in the next 15-20 minutes is something that you can definitely use, okay? The most important thing is whatever we go over, your objective is not to stand there and act like you're trying out for a UFC fight, okay? Your objective is to do what you need to do for that split second to get away, okay? So let me start by kind of introducing, there's 3 levels, and I've used this before with the seniors when it came to just awareness. There's 3 levels that you want to, that we consider in law enforcement. There's the red. Can anybody tell me what would classify as a red level? What type of person is in a red level? I'm just curious to see what your reaction would be, what your answer is. So if you're constantly living in the red world, what type of person are you?
Alert.
Was that?
Alert.
Yes, you're very alert, but probably too alert. You see a dragonfly, you're wondering if it's poisonous, if it's going to kill you. The wind blows a certain way, you're like, was that a bomb that went off? You don't want to live in the red alert, because what will happen is you're going to have a heart attack and not make it too long. All right? Then there's what I call the blue level. Blue level, what do you think blue level is?
Conscious.
Calm. Probably a little too calm. Oh, look at the butterfly while they're standing on the interstate. Look at the butterfly. Not observant of their surrounding. So the level that I would consider living is considered the yellow alert level, okay? This is an individual that is very observant of the surroundings. And this is the most important thing that I want to point out. Observant. Be observant of your surroundings, okay? When you come out of any establishment, I don't care if it's work, and this is a gated area. This is a pretty safe area, but there's still human beings that live in this world, okay? It's a sinful world. Unfortunately, there's people that want to do harm. You want to be observant of your surroundings. You want to be able to walk out, and you want to just take a moment and look, okay? First of all, you want to look for the person that's texting and driving, number one. But you want to be able to look. You want to be able to see what's going on around you. Always remember, attackers or people that are looking for vulnerable people, they're watching you, okay? They're watching to see what you're going to do. If you're face planted on your phone and you're not observant, you're an easy target, okay? If you walk like you have no confidence, you're an easy target, okay? So you want to be observant. You want to be looking around. That's not a soft target. That's not somebody that most people are going to go after. They want the person that's distracted. Most of the time, when a crime takes place, it's quick, okay? Whether they snatch a purse, they take your phone, whatever the case might be, it's quick. So you want to walk with confidence. If you're walking through a parking lot, walk with confidence. Be looking around. I don't need you doing this, but just look around, walk around. If you see a gathering of individuals in a corner and you don't feel comfortable, That's your instinct. Don't try to make it something that it's not. Listen to your instincts, because it's usually pretty much right. Go a different route. Wait till you have more people. Maybe go, depending on where you're at, maybe get someone from that establishment to help you. But don't try to be Bruce Lee. Don't try to make something that you know in your heart doesn't seem right to try to justify because you want to get from here to there. Because again, it happens like this. Okay? So a couple of, and again, you're going to hear me say this a couple times, the disclaimer. The things that I'm going to go over are things that are last minute. Because if I come up to you and I walk up to you and you karate chop me in the neck and all I want to do is ask you, what time is it? That's a battery. Okay? It's going to be real hard to articulate to a police officer or a deputy sheriff why you chop me in the neck and I can't breathe. Okay? This is a situation where you know that that person's invading your space. You can pretty much read people and you can tell if somebody's trying to do harm. All right? There are instances, unfortunately, where things happen just like that. You know, you're walking and somebody snatches your purse or somebody attacks you, whatever the case might be. But more than likely, you're gonna feel, you're gonna know something's about to take place. Okay? So a couple of things, Jeff, come up here for a second. I'm gonna put this down. Can you hear me? So a couple things to remember. Where are some vulnerable points? Again, I'm gonna say this again. This is last resort, okay? Last resort. You know that you feel that your life is in imminent danger, okay? Your family member, whoever it is. But before I show you some things, what's the best line of defense?
Flee.
What's that?
Flee.
Fleeing. Somebody comes to you, they're invading your space, they're being aggressive. There's nothing wrong with just, okay, and just go. You're not a coward, okay? One of the things that I always like to teach is, I boxed for a long time. One of the things is keep your hands up. You know, keep your hands here. Because if for some reason, God forbid, somebody tries to take a swing at you, if you can deflect, the punch may still connect, but if you can deflect it a little bit, it's not going to have the same impact as if you take the full brunt of it. In boxing, my coach always said, it's not the punch that you see that knocks you out, it's the one you don't see. Because when you're engaging with somebody and you see these guys boxing, they're already anticipating the punch that is being thrown, so they're preparing for it. 99.9% of the time when you see somebody hit the canvas, it's because they did something and they forgot about this, and that's what takes them down. And sometimes it's not even a powerful punch. It's just that sneaky punch. So keep your hands up. If someone's invading, you know that this is last resort. You have to protect yourself. You know, you've tried to get away, whatever the situation is, hands up. Keep your hands up, okay? Tell me some areas of the human body. Now, I'm gonna speak more on, you know, obviously gentlemen do the same thing, but ladies, all right? When it comes to the male anatomy, where are some parts of the body that are great?
Right here in the neck.
Right there in the neck, that is one.
In the groin.
All right, so we'll do the neck, okay? Now, if you hit somebody right there in the neck, again, you could kill somebody. Crush their airway, the whole 9 yards. Again, it's a quick and then go. Don't hit them and then start stomping the life out of them, because you gotta remember your action, you're gonna have to explain why you did what you did. If you take the person down and then you stomp them to death, you know, it's gonna be real hard to explain. You had the opportunity to get away, but you're there and you're creating this mush on the ground, okay? So the throat, that's a great place. You don't have to apply a lot of force, just a little tap and then go. Growing, biggest thing. Growing is number one. You can breathe on them and knock somebody down, okay? Those things, I mean, Men, I'm sure we can attest. Kids, having fun and accidentally graze them, and you're done. You're done for a couple minutes. That's a very vulnerable spot for a man. What else? The eyes. The eyes. If somebody comes and grabs you and you don't think about the groin, yes. Go into the eyes. Okay? The chin's a hard area because now you're really into that person and you're trying to aim. You're trying to avoid hitting with your fist, because what happens if you hit somebody with your bare fist? There's a reason why boxers wrap their arms, their hands. Break your hand. Okay? And you got to hit them just right in the chin. You hit them just right here, it'll knock them out. But again, your objective is to get away. You don't want to exchange with that person. How about the nose? A good strike to the nose. Bam! What do you think is going to happen to the eyes? Eyes are going to water. That gives you time to do what? Run off. Okay? A good strike to the nose. You could kill somebody too if you strike them in the nose. You push that nose, that bone, but a quick pound right in the nose. Again, what's the objective? To get away. Not to sit there and have an MMA fight. It's to get away. What else?
The knees.
The knees. But here's the problem when you hit somebody in the knees. You better hit them right. So all you're going to do is tick them off or her. You got to hit the knees just right. So other than the knees and the chin, what else?
The ears.
Absolutely. A good slap in the ear. I mean, boom, just like that. It's going to throw them off. I don't care if you're Hulk Hogan. It's going to throw them off. Okay? Another one.
Top of the foot.
Very good. Top of the foot. Especially you ladies wearing them 20-inch pumps. That's a weapon all on its own. But yes, if somebody's got you, all right, he's got me wrapped, one thing you want to do is you want to drop your weight. Okay? Drop your weight. You can hit a pound, or you can just stomp on it just enough to get away. Because the natural tendency of a human being is when you get stomped, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to go. You're going to go down or you're going to step out. Again, life or death. This is about getting away. This is not about sitting there, and I know I keep saying it, but I have to. This is not about sitting there and having a brawl with somebody. It's about getting away. What's another very important point or area of the body? This goes for women and men.
Elbow and stomach.
Elbows are great if you're in, but now you're really close to that person. Okay? What else?
Armpit.
Where?
Right here.
Armpit. Now you're getting into the real.
Did you say? Whoa.
No. That's what I want. Now, but you're really getting into it. How about pinching somebody right here? You ever been pinched on the side? Y'all laugh, but I'm serious. Grab a handle of that thing. Just, huh? Remember when Mama used to squeeze you right there? Bring you to your knees? It still works. Here's one of my favorites. Right here. Hit somebody right there. And it doesn't, just right there. Brachial stun, it'll take anybody down. What it does is it cuts the blood flow to the brain. It'll take a person down real quick. Just enough so you can get away. Okay? So all these things that I've pointed out to you, these are great things to keep in mind. Problem is I told you a lot of things. So what you want to do is you want to be able to find one or two that you can practice. Again, not on your spouse in full force, but just say, hey, grab me this way. Or just grab me. And then just work on one or two things. Whether it's to hit them here, whether it's to do the knee into the groin, whether it's to do a chop, whether it's to grab a love handle. But practice those things. Because in our line of profession, we do a lot of repetitive training. Do you know the term for what the mind does? It's called muscle memory, okay? So if you just hear it today but don't practice it, when, God forbid, if something was to ever happen, you're gonna freeze. Most people are gonna do what? They're gonna run, they're gonna hide, or they're gonna fight, okay? So, again, this is life or death. This is about you protecting yourself, protecting your family. But the most important defense you have is to get away, okay? Typically, if you get caught off guard, you know, your reaction is going to be, you know, it's 50-50. That's why you have to be observant. You got to know your surroundings. If you're going to be out in public and you have to make a stop at the gas station because you didn't want to fill up the night before and it's not in such a good area, before you pull in, when you pull in, look at your environment and just make sure that it's safe. All right? Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of crime, and it doesn't matter where you're at. You know, we're very fortunate and blessed to live in St. Johns County, but crime does still happen here. And you just got to be aware. I can't stress the word aware. Okay? So, how many of y'all have ever boxed? How many of y'all have ever done? I should have known you boxed. How many of y'all have ever done any form of martial arts? Okay. So I'm not going to go off topic, but any of y'all ever done ground fighting or? Okay. So if you're in the market to do some form of martial arts or just some kind of self-defense, my recommendation is learn to box first. Okay? Because all situations typically start what? Standing up. Okay? So if you're in a position that you have good balance, it'll help you get away from a lot of situations. The ground side of it is if for some reason you just slip. We've all watched those goofy videos on Facebook where they're swinging and guy twists his ankle and falls on the ground and the other guy's on top of him. Okay? Again, that's more two people having an argument and acting like fools and they're out there exchanging. This is about life or death here. Those different things that we pointed out to you, those aren't your typical, somebody called your girlfriend hot and you got upset, or your boyfriend, or your husband, okay? This is, again, life or death. You hit somebody in the throat and you hit them just right, you could kill them. You do a palm strike to the nose, you could kill that person, okay? But again, it's last minute resort. It's the last thing you can do because you feel your life is in danger, okay? And that's pretty much it. We don't do the application side of it just because for liability. For you ladies, I will tell you that the Sheriff's Office has a program in St. Johns County, and we're actually kicking it off. It's called WAVE, Women Against Violent Encounters. Keep a close eye on that on our website. I'll be dressed up in a red men's suit. You can do roundhouse kicks and punch me and all that other good stuff. But it is a great resource that we offer. We did it a couple times for the, we did it in St. John, where are we doing it? In the Northwest. We had a big class and it was more just speaking like this. But this particular class, it's going to be smaller groups and we'll teach you some things and then it'll allow you to be able to do what you learned, practice what you learned. So keep an eye out for that, because that's huge. Do y'all have any questions for me? Anything? Yes, ma'am.
What do you do if somebody comes behind you and grabs you by the neck?
So Jeff grabbed you by the neck? So are you talking about like a headlock?
No, grabs you, yeah.
Like this?
And then you want to get away, and then you turn around and you whack them.
Well, if it's a male and and somebody grabs me by the neck, what I like to do is I like to grab their hand, okay? And remember, their whole objective is, they're just trying to choke you. So, you wanna grab their hand, okay? All right, correct. You put your chin in, but what I like to do is I like to drop, and then just grab a handful. Sorry folks that are watching, grab a handful, or just a bam, you know? Your objective is to get him off of you, or if you can strike, again, he or she is trying to do something and you're trying to get away. Again, your objective is not to exchange with that individual, your objective is to get away, okay? If you wanna be able to have, if you wanna spar, join a boxing gym. You can have all the sparring you want. This is real life, you're trying to get away. So if somebody grabs you, your reaction's gotta be quick. Because if you're sitting there and you're fighting with them, they have control of you. So that's why application is important. You need to know what to do. And those things you can practice at home. You can say, hey, grab me from the neck. Drop, grab a handful. He's not thinking that you're gonna go for his groin. Or she's not thinking that, you know, I don't mean to sound, I mean, you could do the same for a woman, too. That's going to be kind of odd. What is she doing? They're going to try to back off. Your job is not to turn around and try to engage. Your job is just to go. When you run, what do?
Yell for help.
Scream for help like you've never screamed before in your life. That's another very important point to point out. Scream from the top of your lungs.
Are you allowed to tase? Like, you know, those little tasers that they sell? Are you allowed to use?
I don't know the whole, I don't know if tasers, I don't think tasers are, I think that's considered, I think you need to have a concealed weapon for that. I don't know the whole side of that. I know one of the things you can use is pepper spray or mace. You guys need, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you're not a coward if you carry one, but have one. Put it on your keys. You walking out to your car, you gotta watch out for her, you know. But make sure if the wind's blowing towards you, you're gonna get the brunt of it too. But just be observant, you know, be observant. What do you have on you that's not mace, that's a heck of a weapon? Keys. Keys are critical. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in an area where you feel uncomfortable, there is nothing wrong with putting these keys between your fingers. I guarantee you stick one of these in there, you hit somebody here, they're not gonna mess with you. Okay? If I forget my off-duty gun for whatever reason, and I'm walking through a parking lot, I'll put my keys in my hand. And I like the box. But I'm 50, I'll be 51. I'm not gonna sit there and exchange with anybody. Those days are over with. I'm just trying to get home to my wife and my kids, okay? Keys. Again, you're not a coward, you're just trying to survive, okay? I can't stress though the importance of application, practicing. You don't have to join a gym. Just, practice it a couple times a month. I don't want anybody living in fear, but we have to be realistic. Things happen. I'm sure that maybe some of you all have had a violent encounter or something close, or could have had a situation that could have been violent. If you haven't, you probably will, God forbid. So, another thing that's a great weapon is what? He said it all. Another weapon you have that God gave you is what?
Your mouth.
Your mouth. Verbal judo. You can de-escalate a lot of people with your mouth. You can de-escalate a lot of people with your mouth. We do this in our line of profession. Your mouth is very, very important. De-escalation, I understand, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Again, you're not a coward if you're apologizing for something you didn't do. Your objective is to what? To get away. Okay? To get away. Verbal judo. Get away. Then you can think about, I chopped him in his neck, But just get away, okay? Your mouth is the most powerful thing you have. If unfortunately you can't, if you know they're not listening, and unfortunately they're not listening, then you may have to react. And it's got to be quick. All right? Yes, ma'am.
How does your response change if they have a weapon?
How does your response change if they have a weapon?
Yes, if they are either behind you and that you can't see it, or you obviously can see it, we don't know, it's.
Listen, if somebody's got a weapon, you need to comply. Is anything on your person worth dying over? If somebody says, give me your wallet, are you gonna sit there and fight them?
I would throw it.
I'd be like, you want my PIN number? Here's my wallet. It's not worth it. You know, even if I know I have a weapon and I'm off duty, even if I know I have a weapon on me and somebody tries to, you know, and they have a knife or they have a gun, and I feel like I can draw on them I'm not gonna do it. What do you want? My wallet? Here you go. I'll do a police report. I'm gonna try to remember everything I can of that individual, and then I'm gonna live to another day. Unfortunately, once in a blue moon, there might be a situation where, you know, they take your wallet or they take your purse and they shoot you. You know, but that's few and far in between. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it can. But it's just not worth it. If you're at that point and you know they're going to do something to you no matter what, well, guess what? Hey, he's probably going to shoot. She's probably going to shoot. I'm going to try to do what I can to defend myself. I'm not going to go out like that. I mean, it's unfortunate. That's a split-second decision that you're going to have to make. But 9 times out of 10, if they're asking or they're telling you, I want your purse or I want your wallet or give me your car, as long as there's not a kid in there, give it to them. A lot of crime is committed because, again, we're not observant. You run to the grocery store or you run in to get something from the gas station and you leave your car running. You didn't see the guy standing over there in the corner. I mean, it happened to my wife. She ran into the gas thing, and she said, well, I saw the guy there, and he went in there, opened the door, took her purse. People are watching. That's why you want to be observant, and you want to make sure you let whoever's watching know that you're not a soft target. And the only way you can do that is by being observant of your surroundings. That right there will help eliminate a vast majority of situations that you can encounter. Okay? But there's no other secret formula to this. This is what this is about. This self-awareness class is about just making sure that you're aware. And a lot of y'all, it's common sense, but we forget. That's what we have to remember. We forget. We are rushing. Our minds are occupied with either what's on Facebook or a text we got, or where's my husband, you know, whatever. So we just get caught, we get blind, and that's when you can be vulnerable. But I'm not trying to get you to live in a red world, I'm trying to get you to just live in a yellow world, okay? But just be observant of your surroundings. If you're walking in a store and you see this lady running across the hall, are you gonna keep shopping? No, get the heck out of there. Those are the things I'm talking about. Okay? Any other questions? Anything? Speak now, forever hold. Yes, ma'am.
Does St. Johns County have texting 911 if that's an option? If we don't want to be, or we're not able to talk or something?
I'm glad you brought that up because you're not going to get in trouble if you call the sheriff's office. If you're in a situation where you just don't feel right, like, you know, you see something suspicious, we call it a suspicious person or suspicious vehicle or suspicious circumstances, whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, I'm in my car, there's, you know, and I'm not saying call the non-emergency number. Hey, I'm in my car, I'm trying to go into the store, but there's this guy that's just kind of, or there's this lady and she just looks a little suspect, and I've got to go into the store, but I don't feel comfortable going out. They'll send a unit out there, check it out, see what's going on. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not gonna, now, you calling us every day, 50 times a day, yes, that's abuse of 911, but I don't think y'all have that issue. How many of y'all live in St. John's? Okay, that's good. So, yeah, you're not, and even outside of St. Johns County, you're not doing anything derogatory or doing anything that's gonna get you in trouble. I feel like there's like this misconception that if you dial 911, you know, they're coming after you. It's not that way. That's why there's a non-emergency number, okay? But that's a good question. Obviously, if there's a situation and you don't feel right, texting it is not gonna have the same result as calling. That's why there's a non-emergency number. Call that number. Those dispatchers are phenomenal. It's like they have the eyes are already out there. They see what you see. They know what's going on, okay? Any other questions? Anything?